Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Season 1, Episode 11. It's called Chapter 11, A Midwinter's Tale. And it's listed as Episode 11 on Netflix. Because I was curious, because it's a Christmas special between the two seasons, or between the two parts.
Some shows count it as like a zero of the following season.
I think the funny thing here, though, with Netflix, though, is that they have to put it somewhere. They have to make a choice.
Well, I've seen them do like on other shows. It'll just say special, it'll like season 1, season 2, special, season 3. It'll have its own category.
Okay, well, it doesn't though. It's just listed as 11.
Yeah,
11.
they chose to go for this.
It's even called Chapter 11. I mean, I assume the next episode will be Chapter 12 anyway. So this is just, I think the weirdest thing about this is that I'm not used to getting just one episode of a Netflix show and then waiting for more. It's kind of weird.
Kind of surreal.
It's like, oh, this is almost like a weekly show. Because, I mean, it's not been that long since the rest of the episodes.
I mean, we finished it about a month ago?
Just,
Maybe a little bit over?
Yeah, because it launched mid to late October, so we finished maybe about halfway through November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, here we go. So, Christmas special. I will say, when I read the description of what this was going to be on the news, like, 2-3 weeks ago, we were under the impression it was going to be like some sort of anthology thing where they were all telling stories and we'd get each of the stories. And it's not that at all. It's not even remotely that.
No.
I don't know where that description came from, but it definitely didn't sound like this.
It didn't, no.
So I don't know what happened in translation there. Because it's really just the next normal episode. It just happens to be set at Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they chose to release it. It's weird, isn't it?
I guess just because... I mean, obviously they knew they were making the two 10-episode chunks, and they had like an extra one, and they made this, oh, we'll set it at Christmas, but there's nothing really about it that feels like it needs to be set at Christmas. But obviously it's got the Christmas decorations, and we've got an evil Santa demon.
Do you know what it does? It does this weird thing where the last season ended on, a finale.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to have a start of a season coming up. And this is like, yeah, but you can't skip this. This is kind of essential.
It is. It's odd, because I often... Like, specials tend to bug me with TV shows, partly because I hate how they throw off the numbering, and partly because they often... Like, Doctor Who's the main sort of, current example that I can think of, but they always feel like weird... It's like comic book annuals that are standalone and have nothing to do with the main plot. It always bugs me. Unless they're really good. But they're usually
that's the
not.
thing. If they're good, it's like, oh, it's fine, it's cool. If they're not, it's just like this. It's a bit of a waste of time.
I mean, I don't think this was bad, necessarily. This wasn't
I do.
It wasn't a very good episode either. Like, yeah, because I knew you hated it from the way you spoke about it
I think this is the second worst episode of the show.
Well, what do you not like about it, specifically?
I just think it feels so... It feels like it's kind of pointless, but at the same time, it's not. It's like, it's... I have to watch it. It does all these beats, but I feel like it's moving through all these beats from the end of last season that should have had time spent on them. But now, oh, we'll just deal with them in the special. It's fine. Like, I don't get it.
I mean... It's weird to me, because I don't think it's... Like, to me, what you just described is like one of the typical episodes of a TV show that happens in the middle of a season where we often refer to them as moving the chess pieces around the board, right? Where they're not that exciting on their own, but they do move things around so that they're kind of important to still have to go through them for the sake of the overall plot.
Yeah.
And it kind of has that feeling about it where it's not that exciting an episode on its own, but there are things happening. There's character beats happening that are going to be relevant,
I think,
going forward.
Okay, onto that, like, to go off of what you said there, on one thing, I just think it's kind of boring to watch. I don't think it's very enjoyable. Because it's doing these things that you have to know, but it's not that it's not doing them in a fun
that's why I'm comparing it to that term that you often use, because
I'm following up with that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I don't understand the level of hatred you've got going here, because to me it's just kind of a mediocre episode, and that's it.
No. Part of this is where it comes in because it's Netflix. When I get one of those episodes on a show, they're always like, yeah, whatever. We'll come back next week, right?
Sure.
here it's like, right, okay, I'll come back in 4 months.
I just don't feel that strongly about it. I can't imagine why anyone would feel that strongly about this. Which is probably my biggest complaint, is that it's just kind of there. It's
I feel
okay.
strongly because if this is a special, like, this is okay. Here's an episode in the, a month after the last season, 4 months before the next one. It feels so forgettable that I'm annoyed that I watched it. But the problem is, I feel like I'm gonna have to, when it comes to the next season, I'm gonna have to go back and skim this to go, right, okay, what was all the stuff that happened in that episode?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of specials in general. I don't like standalone things that just kind of exist. I mean, I don't mind it because we're getting Timeless next week, and that's okay because that's ending everything. Like, I don't have a problem with that.
See, here's the thing: if this was just standalone, I'd be a lot more forgiving. It would be pointless, but I'd be like, all right, whatever. Uh, Alternatively, if it was standalone and it was, it would be doing different things at that point. It would be fun. I'd be into it. I'm okay with things just being a standalone episode as long as they're enjoyable. It's just here's a dose of that show you like. It's not anything important, but here's a chance to see the characters and have a fun adventure. I quite like that when specials do that.
I mean, I don't hate it. I just, it always feels weird to me. It feels like a weird thing to just get one episode randomly or something. And just to get a season.
You say this about comic annuals as well, though. You don't like those.
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't. Comic annuals are weird. I'd rather they were just another chapter of the main story.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite, where I'm like, no. I don't
in that
feel
sense,
like
I kind of like this. I like that this is because I was actually the biggest concern I had going into this was that description we had where it sounded like just a random like flashback thing where they were going to be doing like stories about Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not that. Like, because you indicated that you kind of hated this because you watched this yesterday, and then I was watching it, and I was like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, yeah, it's not setting my world on fire, but like, I'm not hate. I kept expecting it to do something to piss me off.
It was just the word I used when what I said to you was it's a slog, and
Sure.
I stand by that.
It's definitely not one of its better episodes by any means. I think it's just a very mediocre episode, but I don't feel strongly.
I think, like, how I said, it undermines some of the stuff from the end of the season.
Yeah.
That's the sort of stuff that annoys me. Like Sabrina's deal, signing the book at the end of the last season, and coming out in the new outfit and going into the school, and it's like that felt like, okay, that's a big deal and then here it doesn't seem to matter at any point. It's like, I know that's happened. They've referenced it a couple of times, but it doesn't feel like there's anything different.
That's the weirdest part of it, is that it feels like there's one or two lines from her where you can kind of, okay, she's definitely not quite her old self, but she doesn't feel different enough in this episode beyond that. Like,
Yeah.
The stuff I liked, I liked just the flat out, like, talking to her friends about her magic stuff, and them all kind of being like, oh, you want us to come to a seance? I mean, that sounds great and all, but I gotta wash my hair. Like, it's weird. They're all weirded out. Like, I'm into all that stuff for the most part. I think the biggest problem is just the actual the seance itself isn't that interesting. The demon woman or witch woman who comes to like collect the invisible kids isn't that interesting because of Solstice, there's these invisible kids that run around and infect the house, and they have to get the I don't know, the witch who controls these invisible kids to come and get them.
Come down from the mountains and come and get the kids.
Do you know what the sad part is? I feel like if the episode just focused more on just the plot about Susie being kidnapped by a Santa demon and just made it about fighting a Santa demon, I think I'd have had more fun with it.
Yeah, that feels so thorough. Like, she gets kidnapped relatively early on.
Yeah,
and then we deal with all the evil invisible kids. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess we should follow up on Susie now.
Yeah, it's definitely clunky, and it's definitely weird that it doesn't, because it's the most interesting plot going on. Is that there's a Santa demon kidnapping kids at the mall?
Yeah,
that's kind of exciting, but it's kind of, and they deal with it very quickly, and it's just kind of whatever. I'll tell you one thing I did like though. I liked this because I was going to give him shit if he didn't. Is Harvey just guesses that Sabrina used magic on his dad? Because she came over with the eggnog, and I'm like, if you don't when he stops drinking all of a sudden, you better realize that this was a magic thing.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he does, and I was pleased by that because it was so obvious. So
it was.
So that's good. That's good.
It feels like a really low bar here that you're going, yes, you noticed the obvious.
Well, because up until this point, though, he has been kind of oblivious about things until he's found out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that now he's found out she can't sneak it past him.
Okay.
I'm glad about that. And when he asks her not to use magic around him, because he gives the present back with the magic pencils and stuff, I at least for now believe she means, or she like when she's saying sure I won't use magic on you. I think at least she means it right now. Whether or not she sticks to it in the future is another question, but I think at least right now she thinks she's telling the truth. She's intending not to.
Okay.
But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean she won't change her mind when circumstances arise. But
yeah, almost certainly.
But yeah. So yeah, the character beats are fine. She is kind of more friendly with the weird sisters, where they're actually willing to help her with shit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that was the one real difference.
Another one of the beats that just threw me was Hilda going, "Oh, I'll come and sleep in the bedroom again." I'm like, this was a whole big thing like an episode ago. Like her making that decision for independence. This feels like it just undermines it immediately.
I didn't necessarily feel that way about it. It was more just it felt too quick. Because the whole point was that she was offering to do it to make her feel better. It's just kind of weird to do it in the very next episode.
It is, yeah. And I'm sure she'll be just back out in her own room come the start of the next season.
Which might actually negate what you were saying. This might actually be written in such a way that you could go straight to episode 1 of season 2, or sorry, part 2, and none of this will matter.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure, there's a tease at the end where 3 demons come out of the mine or whatever. Very Three Wise Men-esque, but demons.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so I think maybe that's setting up a villain for season 2. Also, I'm fairly certain that every single time we've seen Sabrina's mother after the Seance was actually Wardell, because she said she was going to intervene because she was worried what the real mother might say. So I think that was actually her helping.
Almost certainly, yeah.
I did think it was. I was expecting them to reveal it by the end, though. I was actually kind of surprised when they didn't.
Yeah, it was when she conveniently knew the spells.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're like, oh yeah, Edward told me one. I'm like, yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, that seems accurate. Yeah, that was a bit odd. Yeah, like I don't. I'm only defending it so much in that I don't feel that strongly about it, but I don't actually think it's that good either.
I feel like I wasted an hour of my life watching this one.
Yeah, but do you feel that way when you watch an equally mediocre episode of The Flash?
I mean, sometimes. Although that's only 40 minutes, so it's got something on me.
Yeah, there was no cicada in this. I needed some cicada.
At least I might have had some horrific levels of enjoyment from that.
Yeah. No, because there was the other little moment that I liked. I liked when Roz came by to tell him about Susie, and she gets slumped with watching the kid, and she's just kind of in shock that she's watching a kid all of a sudden. She's like, "Is this what magic's like, fighting demons and shit?" And she's like, "Nah, well, yeah, kinda." Like, I don't know. It was just small character beats like that worked for me, which is good because that's kind of why I like the show. So
fair enough.
Yeah, it wasn't all. Yeah, it was a mediocre episode. But the funny thing is, it's been so quick since the episodes we had already that I don't even feel that annoyed that this is the one, because it's only been a month. It's like I don't really care, and it's only a few more months until the next batch. So whatever.
Yeah, it's so weird that this exists.
I feel like the only thing that's really important here is that Harvey's asked her not to use magic around him or on him or whatever, and the demons at the end, and that's probably it.
No, I think the stuff with her mother will come up and be relatively important.
Sure. And I suppose Zelda does make the choice to give up the kid to somewhere more safe.
Yeah, that was another thing that kind of bugged me.
Which does make this important, though, because if the kid's not there when we come back, then
you'd be like, "Where's the kid?"
Yeah, because that was
such a again, that was such a big deal for her at the end of the season, and it's like, well, next episode, I mean, I guess I'll give the kid away.
I mean, I'm not surprised the kid's not staying, but I did think it would take longer to get to the reason.
I thought it would build. I thought it would be a big deal, whereas not just we'll do it in that episode there, that very next one.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It's stuff like that all these things have added up and annoyed me about this episode. I don't like that it exists because of all these things.
I still like that we got this more than what I thought we were getting though.
No, I'd rather watch that. If it was enjoyable, I'd rather watch that.
Nah, they feel like filler.
That's fine. I would rather it feel like filler than feel like it's undermining things from the end of the season.
I mean, in theory, I agree with you, but
filler is better than undoing major plot elements or major character elements. It just is.
It's weird because they made such a big deal of casting a young actress for young Sabrina, who, to the credit of what they did to give her the hair and stuff, I didn't realize it was the young version at first. Like the first shot, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, me too.
And then it was the second shot where I noticed, wait, her and Susie look really short. I'm like, oh, it's the younger version.
Yeah, it took me a second as well.
They did such a good job of giving her like the exact same hair, and I think it was the hair and the coat together. It was like just blended right in. Didn't even think about it. I was like, man, Shipka's looking short. Did they just like do some like height reduction technology here? Is that what they did? Just shortened them in post. Are they walking on their knees? Like what's happening?
They just built a really big set
and got some really tall people to play the adults.
Yeah, they're all on stilts.
Oh dear. Yeah. So there's some stuff in there. I just like getting freaked out because the poltergeist stuff's happening in the house, and that's it. Yeah. They call in this witch. They trick her with turning a teddy bear into the baby because she wants the baby. Yeah. Ambrose goes and hides because
I guess Ambrose can go anywhere now.
Well, I thought that place where he went was a school.
Well, I suppose maybe it was.
It looked like a school to me.
Okay, fair enough.
It looked like that sort of library area that we'd seen a couple of times.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I just didn't recognise it enough because it was really weird to me when they were like, "Yeah, you best get out of here." I'm like, I mean, he is still kind of on house arrest. I mean, I know he's allowed to go to the school to teach and do that stuff, but can he just go there whenever he wants?
Yeah. Well, we went to the regular school in the finale as well because we talked about that.
That's true, yeah.
And we questioned if it's just because he's allowed in the whole town now because that's where the school is.
Yeah. Yeah, they really need to clarify this.
They do. They have to set these ground rules. They really do. But yeah, so that was that. Yeah, I don't have much more to add on the plot, to be honest.
It's very forgettable in the plot, I think.
Yeah, it's not a great episode. I don't really want to defend it that much. I just don't feel that strongly.
Yeah.
And I wanted to refute the strong feelings, I guess.
You just wanted to argue. You just wanted me. Just wanted to argue with me specifically.
I just thought because your initial response made it feel like, oh god, this is going to be like some of the episodes of The Flash we had in the last few weeks.
I'm not gonna lie. There are points where if I checked the time, thinking, "Oh, I've got to be nearly done," and I was halfway, and I was like, "Oh, this is going on forever."
I did feel the length a bit more than usual because all the episodes were about 55 to an hour for the most part in the first season, and I very rarely felt it. Like the pacing was always pretty on point. I wonder if this was because we know they shot all of them like as one big season essentially. So I'm trying to think of the scenario where this was kind of produced independently. So that's why it feels kind of weird.
Yeah, I can't because I was under the impression it was ordered for 20 episodes, right?
Yeah, I guess it was 21.
I guess it was 21, unless the next season's only 9.
No, I'm pretty sure it's still 10. Or did they get the full 22 and there's going to be another Christmas episode next year?
That would feel like a proper break for a Christmas episode.
It doesn't even have to be Christmas. They could do a Halloween episode, I suppose, if they wanted to do that instead.
They could, yeah.
I'll have one Halloween episode.
Well, they could do summer solstice. To counterpoint with this one.
They could.
Yeah.
They could.
I mean, assuming they're doing this, we have no idea.
Yeah, no, we're just speculating. I wonder. I wonder what conversation got to this episode, and like the choice to make it what it was, and like how much to put in it. Like has it been made with the intention that some people might skip it because they'd go straight to season 2?
here's the thing: can they? Like, I mean, say you watch season 1, you don't come to this now. When you get to when season 2 comes out, you click play.
It'll
It's
play the
gonna
next
take you to this
yeah.
episode. Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. They'll just think it's the first one of season 2.
Unless someone goes into the episodes and actively chooses not to watch that episode.
Which is funny though, because I have to assume that the premiere will still feel like a season premiere.
I would assume so.
Because it's not like episode 10 of that didn't feel like a finale, because it did. It felt like the finale.
Yeah.
So I assume the next one will feel like a premiere.
Yeah, which makes this feel even weirder.
Yeah, it's this weird in between thing.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't like specials, because they're weird in between things. It bugs me.
Well, that's why I was really okay with it when it was, we thought it was the anthology of the stories, because then it's not anything. It's just, here's some stories set in the world. It's not actively contributing to anything.
If they wanted to do a standalone thing, what they should have done was take a script from the 90s show and just remake it as those versions of the characters for a laugh.
That would have been strange.
Have Ambrose voice Salem and just do it.
Why not?
Sure, it's just a joke. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
All right, that is the Christmas special of Sabrina. So we'll be back with Sabrina, of course, in I think it's April when season 2 hits, or part 2 hits. And of course, right now on Netflix, we're working our way through Travelers. We just started season 3 of that, and we have more stuff coming. Lemony Snicket's Season Unfortunate Event season 3 is coming in a couple of weeks' time.
New Year's Day.
As well as other things. So yeah, check out that. So yeah, guys, on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support us over there, if you want to like, subscribe, all that kind of thing. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates, but otherwise that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?